everybody and welcome back to the Bourbon Bar. I'm Holden and today I'm going to be bringing you guys a video of something that I saw recently done by the Bourbon Junkies. And I was sitting there watching their video about what whiskeys was their milestones, and it really got me thinking about my personal experience with what whiskeys were important in my life from the beginning to the end, which whiskeys were my starter whiskeys, the ones that I searched for the most, and the ones that I was happiest to get. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys what I thought of and what my list is for the whiskeys that have been my milestones. So, starting off with the first whiskey on this list, I actually do not have a bottle of, but I kind of combined two things into one. Not only is it the first whiskey that I ever drank, but also it is a whiskey that I continually drank as my teeth-cutting whiskey. The whiskey that, I wasn't quite into whiskey yet, but I was significantly drinking whiskey a lot with it, and that bottle is Bulleit Bourbon. And I know you guys are thinking, because that bottle's on every shelf everywhere, but it's still a little bit nicer than, Jack Daniels or Jim Beam, something like that. Well, I had gone to a friend's house when I was turning 21, and I said I wanted to try some whiskey, and he pulled out Bulleit Bourbon. And I'm like, awesome, let's pour it up and drink it. I had it on the rocks. It was whiskey. But honestly, guys, I didn't necessarily love whiskey at that point. I just knew that I wanted to like whiskey because of the culture, because of the amount of stuff that you could do with whiskey, and I did like it in an aspect, whereas compared to all the other straight alcohols, it was the best one. But also, it also to me tasted just like alcohol, as it does for a lot of people when they're first starting. So what happened was I drank it there, and I'm like, yeah, this is decent. I could drink this throughout my life. I could drink this. This is fine, yeah. So what I did then is I went and bought some. And I kept it with me. Basically, every time I went to a party, I would just pull out the old bottle of Bulleit. And honestly, sometimes I would even just drink it straight out of the bottle. Because, why not? That's what I was doing. I was getting accustomed to drinking whiskey. But yeah, I think Bulleit Bourbon was honestly the number one bourbon that I've drank the most of before being a bourbon guy. Before anyone knew me as a bourbon guy, I always had Bulleit Bourbon on me, and that's what I was drinking. So that was my first whiskey I ever had, and what got me into whiskey. Now, moving to the next one. The next one is the Game Changer whiskey. What was the whiskey that I drank that really turned me from, I'm drinking this substance, it tastes like alcohol, and it has some flavors, but it's basically, I can't even tell the difference, to, oh my gosh, this actually has something going on in it. There's a little bit more body, a little bit more flavor. There's some new flavors that I've never seen before. Something that really opened your eyes that not all whiskey's the same. And that bottle for me is Maker's 46. Now, this is actually something that I had in a flight. Getting into whiskey, I was going to a place called the Bourbon Room, and I've mentioned it on here before, but they have quite the whiskey selection, and they also have whiskey that they offer in flights. And so what I got is a poor man's antique flight, and on that flight was this lovely bottle of Maker's 46. Now, when I was sitting there sipping the whiskey, it was my first time actually having it out of a Glencairn too, which I'm sure helped, but I smelled it, and I was like, what? Wow, this doesn't smell like alcohol or caramel, or this doesn't smell like typical stuff. This has some cherries in it and some chocolate, and it had flavor notes. And honestly, it's one of those things where it's like a blind person seeing for the first time. You didn't realize that all these whiskeys were different, that they were this different until that one bottle. And that bottle for me is Maker's 46. So next up on the list is actually less of a bottle and more of a couple bottles, and that is, what bottle got you into your first favorite distillery? Now for me, mine's a little bit weird because there's not many bottles options from this distillery, but you can buy a lot of bottles from this distillery. But if you zoom out from the distillery and look at it as a parent company type standpoint, then there's a lot more bottles in this scope. But the whiskey that has gotten me into a distillery was Elijah Craig. Now, I originally bought this bottle because it was being used in the old fashions that I was drinking at the Bourbon Room. And I liked it. I wanted to make old fashions with it and drink it straight. So I got a bottle, I started drinking, and I'm like, dang, this is good. So then I did some more research on it, and I'm like, okay, well, it's not like a fan favorite, but I hear this thing called Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. That stuff sounds pretty good. So then I went from this and I got Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, and I tasted it and I was like, dang, that's pretty good. And so then I bought more Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, and more Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, and more Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, and then another 3 different bottles of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof on the shelf over there. All different, because they're all different batches, which is awesome. And it kind of became one of those things where, like, I'm always going to buy these because I just like what they're putting out. I like what Elijah Craig is doing. I have their toasted barrel. That's great. The rye, well, the rye is interesting, but it's still not bad. And I think Elijah Craig was the first one that I was like, I need to buy more things from this distillery because I like what this guy is putting out. Alright, so the next bottle on the list is the Hidden Gem bottle. That is the bottle that I found, and I was like, this is great, but it's on the shelf all the time. It's a good price. I don't have to deep look for it, but it's got everything I want to drink in bourbon. And so the bottle that I am choosing for the Hidden Gem is Old Forester 1920. I mean, this is the one that I bought it expecting something good because I had heard good things about it. But then I tasted it and I'm like, that is really good. And it's on the shelf all the time. And that's one of the biggest parts, is that no matter what, even if I can't find the Pappies and I can't find the BTAC, I can't find the super allocated stuff, I'm going to be able to go to the store, buy a bottle of this for $50 and drink it all the time. No matter what, no matter where my whiskey adventures go to, I can always fall back on Old Forester 1920. It's phenomenal. I like it a lot. And if ever I ran out of the bottle, I would buy another one, because I think that this is one of the best bottles that I could get that's on the shelf all the time at this proof with this flavor. I think it's great and it hits above its mark, and that's why it's a hidden gem for me. I just think it's worth it. It's definitely worth having around. Alright guys, so the next bottle on this list is going to be the first Chase bottle. What is the first bottle that I looked for? It was like the bottle that I wanted, that it was like end all be all of like the super rare whiskey that I wanted. Now, there are other ones along this list. Obviously, I have my Milestones. I was super excited to find the Bookers. When I found Bardstown Discovery Series for the first time, I was ecstatic. And I found some great bottles between now and then. But there's one bottle in particular that I have always wanted since a very early stage of my whiskey journey. And whether it's the bottle, whether it's the display that it comes in, whether it's the marketing behind it, or even just what I've heard from people saying about the whiskey inside of it, it's a bottle that I was searching for and I couldn't believe when I found. And when I found it, it was like that one puzzle piece that would just fit into place of, you know, this is it. This was a bottle that you've been looking for since day one. And that bottle for me is Wild Turkey Master's Keep. So, as you guys know, Wild Turkey Master's Keep, phenomenal stuff. A lot of people love it. And that is one of the things that I knew going into it. But the other thing is that I liked the Wild Turkey products. I liked everything that they put out so far. And why wouldn't I like something super limited by them? Then you get down to the nitty gritty, the bottle shape, the cool turkey on it, the amount, the age, and like the quality of whiskey inside the bottle. I mean, the display, the box, like so much is cool about Wild Turkey Master's Keep. But I really didn't think that I was ever going to find one. And that's what makes it so special, is that it was always a pipe dream. It's always like, I'm never going to find one. But if I did somehow get my hands on a Wild Turkey Master's Keep, that would be the day. That would be it. And then I stumbled into it. And I was going to the liquor store every single day, mind you. I knew that these had came out. And I was looking for it and hunting it intensely. But I still didn't think I was going to get one. And then finally, one day, I found it at Woodman's, last one on the shelf, $200, 100% worth it. Amazing stuff. I like it a lot. And this was my first Chase bottle. Now, a close second was my Angel's Envy Cask Strength. I did want both of these bottles, but I was not specifically searching for this. I actually stumbled across this. And that goes true for, I was looking for Russell's Reserve. I was looking for both of these guys as well. But it wasn't like, that's the bottle that I know just came out, that's the bottle I'm looking for. Those were all just, I was in a store and I tripped up and I stumbled upon them. It was pure luck, happenstance. The way that I actually found them is insane, but that wasn't my purpose, was to get those bottles. This bottle was the one that I was searching for and I got, and it basically completed my whiskey hunting journey. Alright guys, so the last bottle on this list is actually what I am drinking in this glass here, but it's a bottle that I am still hunting. So what bottle am I still going to be hunting? Even though I've got the ones that I have, what am I going to continue to hunt? It's not going to be incredibly hard to find, and I know I'm going to find them, but it still requires some hunting behind it. And I get really excited when I get one, and I might even pay above retail for it. So that's this category. What bottle am I still hunting for? And that bottle is Booker's. Now, I know guys, this is like 50-50. Like, some people love this stuff, some people hate this stuff, some people think it's overpriced. I get so happy when I find a bottle of Booker's. I go into the stores and I specifically search for bottles of Booker's. And because I like them, I love the profile behind them, I love what they taste like. I've had some batches that weren't as good as the others, but I've never had a batch that I actually didn't enjoy drinking. I just like, it's something about it, the box, the presentation, the whiskey that I actually like inside of it. It's not obnoxiously priced. Yes, it's $80, but some places you're probably going to find it closer to $100. That's fine. If this is a bottle that I get for $100, I'm okay with it because I like it. I like the stuff. I like the stories behind it, the presentation. I love the marketing. I love the whiskey inside of it. So whenever I find one of these in the store, I'll buy it. In fact, I just had a subscriber send me the 2022-03 batch, which I actually have in this glass here. And I was so happy to get it from him. It made my whole day. So shout out to you, Joe. Thanks very much. But overall, if I'm looking for a specific whiskey in the store, not particularly hunting, but I'm going to buy one every time I see it, available to me is going to be Booker's. Yeah, it's good stuff. What can I say? But that being said, guys, this is the end of the video. If you guys liked it, please hit the like button. But also, guys, let me know in the comments what has been the most significant whiskey in your whiskey journey, and what has brought you the most joy when buying whiskey in your whiskey journey. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this topic, but please leave a comment, like that button. But please leave a comment, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will see you all in the next class.